Hey y'all, it's me. So, a couple of things. I don't know if you know this or not. The Kroger marshmallows are a fat-free food. And 4 of these giant marshmallows are only 90 calories. And this is something that got me through last time that I had forgotten about until I went to the store the other day. And about had a cow when I remembered my marshmallow trick. And I'm like, how did I forget my marshmallow trick? And I forgot my marshmallows at home today, which ended up costing me about 300 calories. I had sugar for lunch. I had a really early morning because I had to go get my flu shot before work because with what I do, I have to have a flu shot. And I went in and I was like, okay. And I verified that yes, my scale is correct and I have lost the full 11 pounds that, we announced the other day. Yay! I was so excited. But at the same time, I'm kind of like keeping things real because I know I've been on the prednisone and the prednisone's almost over. Oh, yeah, I'm gonna miss it. I'm gonna miss it. I have felt more like myself in the past week than I have in the past year. So I I'm gonna miss it. But marshmallows. I could have used them today. Oh, we had a rough day. We had a rough day at work. And it was one of those days where, sometimes everybody's at each other's throats when you're having a bad day. And everybody's biting each other's heads off and whatnot. Run around the clinic like, ah. And then you've got days where, no, we're all in this miserable sinking ship together. In this miserable sinking ship together. And that's what today was. I mean, today was one of those days where, people were walking out after they, had been seen, but test results weren't back and things like that. And things were just frantic. And we just all were just kind of like, where's the candy drawer? I sit next to the candy drawer now. They moved me and I sit next to the candy drawer and it was empty today. But everybody kept coming over to it. And so I was like, I want to run down to the cafeteria and see if there's anything individually wrapped in the candy area that I can bring back and put in the candy drawer. There's not. But they do have little packages of sprees and gummy bears, a couple of which came back to my desk with me. And I have had about 375 calories worth of candy for lunch today. It was, delicious, and I wish I could say that I regret it. But I love gummy bears and chewy sprees. And I can't really honestly say that I regret it. But I do have to be careful because I'm finding that I'm sacrificing meals for sugar. And that's not what we want to do. That is not at all what we want to do. Now, I did come home. I had a good dinner. I had, a giant salad that I made. And I don't like the dressing, but, next time we'll get a different type. And then, just made chicken and I made like a sweet potato. I'm not a good cook. Like, I like to try, and there's certain things I can nail, and then there are certain things that I'm like, oh, I'm gonna try this. And no, it doesn't work. And that's what I did today. I've never been a sweet potato person, just like the past couple years, getting into it a little more. And I tried making it in slices and baking it. And I didn't put enough, I didn't put enough olive oil on some of them, and they got gross. And I was like, okay. So I ended up only having, one, giant flat slice of sweet potato to go with my chicken and my salad, and a couple bites of coleslaw that I decided I didn't end up wanting after all. And, so I was like, okay, so I've got some vegetables, I got some protein, and we're good. And then I looked and my sodium, y'all. I didn't have to balance that number last time. I've never salted my food in my life. So I, maybe once with some bland soup this one time. I can't remember if I ended up going with pepper or salt, but I remember thinking, I think I need some salt with this. And realizing that I didn't have any or something. There may have been one time, but I don't salt my food. I just don't. Usually I'm sweet over salty, I would go for, a candy bar, over potato chips 9 times out of 10, unless it's a Snickers, and you get both one, or Payday, then you get both. Paydays are great. Um, they're horrible. I mean, they're horrible. They taste great though. Um, yeah, and I ate well when I got home, but my sodium was through the roof, and I'm not sure how I'm going to manage that. I'm struggling with it, and I'm also struggling with, okay, well, these are things that I used to do last time. Well, they don't work this time because I have the taste dysfunction from the lithium, and I'm like, okay, well, what do we do now? And I don't like cooking. I just don't. And I try, and I occasionally will come up with something I like eating, so I will cook because I like eating, but I won't do it all the time. It just will. Like, Kroger rotisserie chickens are my crack. Like, that's what got me through the first time, and I went to today to go get one, and they didn't have any. And I was so upset. I was like, really? Really? So, I picked up some, like, seasoned chicken leg quarters and brought them home and popped them in the oven with a sweet potato. Sounds delicious. But Maria can't cook, and it was not what I wanted. And so now I'm like, well, I'm hungry, but I'm not actually hungry for food. I'm hungry because I wasn't satisfied with the food that I ate. And that goes back to the, mind over matter kind of issue of why Maria is the way that she is to begin with. And so I struggled, I struggled today. I did. I had sugar for lunch. I had an Egg McMuffin with no cheese for breakfast because I had to get to work early and get my flu shot this morning and all of that. And so I decided I was going to go through McDonald's. And that's literally the only thing I remember on their menu that is anything near decent for me to eat. It's not decent, but it's a little bit different. And I don't know. I don't know how I'm going to do this, but we're going to do this. 11 pounds has already been done. And if, the prednisone doesn't stick back on me this week, which as I'm, decreasing my dose of it, well, I'm almost done. I only have a couple more days. I haven't gained anything. I also haven't lost anything. And so I feel like I'm kind of coming to a screeching halt. And, I'm trying not to get upset about it. Because I understand rationally what's happening chemically and, to an extent at least, and whatnot, my body. And so I'm just like, okay, it's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. But if it, like, really, really makes everything come to a screeching halt, I'm going to be really upset. I think I'm going to stick with a 4-pound a week goal for the rest of the month. 11 is outrageous. If it wasn't for the prednisone and it being my first week and me being 356 pounds starting this out, I think I would have freaked out if I lost 11 pounds in a week. But I'm not going to freak out, and I'm going to enjoy. And then over the next, 3.5 weeks that I have left of September, I'm going to just focus on 4 pounds a week. And my goal by time I have surgery is 350 or 300, down from 356 to 300, so 56 pounds. 6 months, that's less than 10 pounds a month, and I've already killed 11 this month, so, I feel like I could do this. The 2 weeks before bariatric surgery, you have to drink shakes the whole time. You can't eat. It's liquid-only diet. So it's meant to specifically take off as many pounds as possible, as many ounces as possible before surgery. It's so much safer going into surgery if you have less weight on you. So that's one of the things that I'm going to have to do, and I'm counting on the getting to 300 before the shakes, because then afterwards, the shakes are supposed to bring you down, about 10, 15 pounds, and, over 2 weeks. And then after the surgery, you're on a liquid diet for, it's like a month on a liquid and then a month on a soft, and you really drop weight over the next couple of months too. So that would put me in around probably, at least the 275 range before next summer. 100 pounds different than what I started this summer with, so I'm excited about this. And I'm trying to keep that end goal in mind, but I'm the kind of person like, oh, I'll get to it, I'll get to it if I focus more on the end goal. So the end goal isn't just to lose weight, though. That's really nice. It's nice to have goals that weight is lost. That's a huge part of this, but it's not the only part of this. Like, I'm out of breath walking to my car after work, and I walk across the street and take an elevator up. By the time I got on the elevator today with two other ladies. They both got off on the fourth floor, even though one of them was supposed to get off on the fifth floor. Because I'm sitting there breathing so heavily into my mask, they probably thought I was sick. Like, I could not breathe. I want to be able to breathe. I want to be able to breathe and to go on walks and do these things. And I miss hiking and I miss doing all these things that I used to love to do that I just don't have the energy and the wherewithal to do now. So that's the real goal of all of this. And, all of the self-esteem stuff that goes along with it, that's a huge part of it. Not even gonna lie, like, I absolutely hate my body, and that's a huge issue with me, and so I want to get that taken care of, to at least the best extent possible. I feel like if I'm doing something about it, then the power is in my hands, and so that helps a lot with my depression, and so I'm just eager to see how much this momentum carries. And I'm hoping that it carries. I hope that it snowballs. I hope that it continues being a positive journey and not something that I find stressful and negating. I'm struggling with the fear of crashing on this prednisone coming off of it. I do it every time. And when it comes to energy, and I'm trying so hard to be like, nope, because it's not just the prednisone, it's all this other good stuff that I'm doing, it's gonna be fine. But I'm realistic that it's a possibility, and I'm holding on for dear life. So the next weigh-in might not be as great as this weigh-in. And by great, I don't mean as numerically great. I don't think we're ever going to see 11 pounds in a week again. I don't think that's healthy outside of the situation of last week. But, there are weeks where I'm only going to nail 1 or 2 pounds. And then there are weeks where, I'll hit a spurt and I'll get 6 out of the way. But just hanging on for that ride is going to be interesting. So that's what, I have all of my love and my support for. And I just going to hang on to my marshmallows, keep counting my calories, and somehow figure out how to get rid of sodium in my diet and the sugar in my diet. So, until next time, if you have suggestions on sweet, sugary-ish kind of low-calorie snacks for this month, feel free to drop them. Let me know. I need them cheap, by the way. So, preferably not something that's like, oh, here, bake these like 50, non-baked granola bars at home. That's not my thing. But no chocolate can be in it, and that sucks. But yeah, but I need something sweet, something super easy that I can transport easy and have available for when I have sweet cravings. Otherwise, I'm going to eat gummy bears. I am not strong enough yet. This is still new, and so I need something for the next few weeks at least to kind of kick me in. So, sweet snacks. Gotta be careful with sugar-free snacks because that kills people with IBS and pretty much everybody else too. Fake sugars are horrible for you. They don't do anything for you, like benefit-wise, for what we used to think. All the stuff that's out now about it is ridiculous. But I just just for the next few weeks though, send me your sugary ideas of easy, sugary, low-cal snackage. All right. Thanks, y'all. Have a good night. Bye.